Hey, I'm Pastor Rachel. I'm so excited to be here this morning. Special hello to those of you who are Kingdom Kids. And so what I'm doing today is I am sharing part of the lesson that we are going to share at our Kingdom Kids experience at 10:30. And what's super fun about our 10:30 service is we're going to have a game to help us remember. We're going to have stories, object lessons, all sorts of fun things. So if you can be at the 10:30 service, you definitely want to be. But today I'm just going to share with you our main point that we are talking about in Kingdom Kids today, which is God always keeps his promises. I want us all to say that together. God always keeps his promises. He always does. And we're going to share the story about Abram, whose name later turned to Abraham. So everyone say Abram. Now add the ham in there, Abraham. Abraham, perfect. And so we're talking about his story and how God was faithful throughout Abraham's life. And what you might know about the story of Abraham is maybe you've heard of him before. Maybe you know that God called him to leave his home, to leave just about everything he knew, and to follow God to a place where he didn't even know where he was going. God didn't tell Abraham where the destination was. He didn't tell him anything like that. But what God told Abraham was that he was going to bless him and that Abraham would be the father of a great nation. Aw, how nice. That's great, right? That all sounds so nice and so great. But here's the thing. When God called Abraham to leave his home, to leave everything he knew, Abraham was 75 years old. Kingdom Kids, how many of you have a 75-year-old dad, okay? Maybe you feel like he's 75 years old. He's not, probably, okay? Maybe you have a 75-year-old grandpa. I want you to think about people in your life who are that age, leaving their family and going on a treacherous journey. Wow, that's incredible. But think about this, Kingdom Kids. Abraham left his family, or he left his home when he was 75 years old, but he did not have a son when he was 75. He did not become a father when he was 80 or 90, but Abraham's wife had a son when he was 100 years old. Everyone say, oh, that's old, right? Okay, don't tell anyone I said that, but it's old. And so that's an incredible part of the story. And here's what I want to remember from that, Kingdom Kids, okay? God made a promise to Abraham when he was 75, and 25 years later is when the promise came true, okay? And so sometimes God makes a promise to us, and we want it to happen right now. But sometimes we have to wait for God's timing. But I want us all to say the main point together again. God always keeps his promises. I want you guys to say that again. God always keeps his promises. So if you're going to be in our Kingdom Kids service later, we're going to talk about some promises from the Bible that God actually gives us. And we're going to talk about how those promises, maybe we don't feel like they're happening now. Maybe we don't feel like they'll happen soon, but we can trust that God is going to keep his promises to us. Well, Kingdom Kids, you are amazing. I think you guys are the best thing ever. And now we are going to say the Lord's Prayer with Pastor Steve and Pastor Amy.